Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. Tiki here.
And AdvBlueDude.
And welcome to the long-delayed next installment of the So You Want to Be an Imagineer Season 13 Get a Clue Inside Baseball podcast.
You forgot our special guest.
Our special guest? Who's our special guest?
Crystal Pepsi.
Oh, nice. I approve. Tiki approves of Crystal Pepsi.
So do I, surprisingly. I actually really like it.
I'm gonna have to get some eventually.
You totally should. I'm gonna stock up before this goes out because I actually really like those. So I believe they're only selling it for 8 weeks.
Oh shit! Okay,
yeah, it's like a really limited run.
All right, AdvBlueDude. So we have been out and about. I believe the last time we did a podcast for this particular game, like we've done the retrospectives about Disneyland history since we've been back from Disneyland, but I believe we have not done a So You Want to Be an Imagineer recap since we've been back from Disneyland. Is that correct?
We did one because we did the Haunted Mansion one. Because before we left, we did Star Wars the night I left.
I think you're right then.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but we still haven't done one in like 2.5 weeks.
No, it's still been a while. Folks,
yes.
And we want to remedy that situation. So we're going to dive right into it. AdvBlueDude, of course, we're in the middle of the final 8. We have, God, let's see if I can do it off the top of my head. You ready? You want to challenge me? Here we go.
Do.
Okay, let's see. We got Mickey Fan. We got Man-Eating Wreath. We've got Figment Pigments. That's 3. We've got R. Michael. That's 4. Space, Hufflepuff. 5, 6. Oh, boy.
Oh, here we go.
Now the challenge begins. Now,
oh
boy.
What?
Oh, jeez.
Who do you have so far?
Okay, Space.
Oh, no, I know who you forgot.
You know who I forgot. Okay.
Yeah, one of them I can't believe you forgot. Unless I missed it.
Well, I said Space, Mew, Figment, Puff. This is totally not stuff that people want to hear.
You forgot Sandy Claus and R. Michael.
I didn't forget R. Michael. I think I said R.
Did
Michael.
you say R. Michael? You forgot Sandy Claus at least.
I forgot Sandy Claus. I'm sorry, Sandy Claus. I'm sorry. Anyways, final 8.
Did you forget Mew? Oh, no, D squared.
I did forget D squared. You're right about that. No one cares about who I forgot because I love you all equally. Isn't that right?
Everyone has their favorite child.
Oh, God.
Mine is Crystal Pepsi.
Okay, but out of all the cast, folks, I am very happy that in the final 8, I think every single one of the people left in the game is a solid competitor, has brought their own thing, their own unique style, their own unique gameplay, their own unique creative prowess to the game. And I really think throughout the last few rounds, it's going to be a great fight to the finish. Can't wait to see it all play out. We're here to recap and kind of respond to the projects that have been posted up to this point since we last did a podcast. So, AdvBlueDude, with that in mind, I know you don't watch The Walking Dead, but any linear thoughts at all at the Walking Dead projects that we did get?
They were better than the ride that's already in Universal.
That's kind of the point of the project. Well, it's funny because I planned the project out like a few months before the ride actually was announced. So then the ride kind of added the whole extra wrinkle of like, okay, great. Now I have to have it be like a, measure up to the ride and be better than the ride or the attraction.
Also very glad that nobody decided on putting it in Hollywood, unless I forgot some project and that they did put it in Hollywood. Because I remember reading in like the threads and like nobody mentioned that there was a ride in Hollywood and they're like, we should do Hollywood. And like, no, no, you should. Of all the places. But as someone who doesn't like or care about Walking Dead, the projects were pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, we had Team Hightower taking on the prison, and then we had Team Mystic taking on Terminus.
Yes.
I don't really think we need to spend a ton of time on these projects because they've kind of come and gone. I think you guys are going to generally regard this as probably your least favorite project of the season just because there were pretty much approximately 0 people that were actually into The Walking Dead. But
Which is surprising.
I know, because I actually thought that Space would be all over this, if anyone.
I thought there'd be someone, because it has a huge following. I'm just surprised that, like...
It does.
However many people were there at the time.
Because I'm not, like, trying to pick, like, these obscure properties that nobody's heard of. That's the thing. You know what I mean? It's like,
just
The Walking Dead is kind of revolutionary in that it's a pretty big fan base. It's like, it's way bigger than network TV right now.
Just wait for semifinals, guys, where we do the dark ride based on Jodorowsky's Dune.
Oh man! Oh, someday. Oh, that would be a bit of research.
That would be a lot of research.
Yep. Okay.
It would need documentaries and books.
So I think we can kind of sum up these projects pretty quickly. With Team Hightower, one of the things I liked is their use of screens, which I thought did kind of add to their realism score a bit. Mm-hmm. I like that the screens kind of made the action flow, kind of made the action sort of build and, you know, get gradually more intense as the attraction went on. And I really do like the idea of the final scene in the ride kind of being a giant climax of, like, all the screens kind of coming together to form this mass shootout. Having said that, I think with the project and the presentation, it all just feels a little slapped together. It just doesn't feel like there was that much effort put into it. And I just think that comes down to the fact that the IP was just not the IP you guys wanted to work with. So
I also don't necessarily think that Walking Dead really lends itself to a ride. Like a walkthrough type thing like they already have in Hollywood makes perfect sense. I don't think it makes perfect sense for a permanent attraction, but it makes sense for a walkthrough. But I don't really think it makes sense for, like, a dark ride or a coaster dark ride or, like, that type of thing. So I think that's part of the thing as well, but that's just me.
I understand that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's difficult to work with. It's just one of those IPs. Breaking Bad will be interesting to work with as well.
Breaking Bad, I'm really curious about, folks. And Breaking Bad is one that I've been very open about since the beginning of the season. If you don't know that Breaking Bad's coming, Breaking Bad's coming.
Surprise!
I've told you again. I've reminded you. Do your research. Watch some Breaking Bad for people.
Or just stalk the wikis.
Right.
That's what I did for Lost.
But and it won you great success.
That was a fluke. But yeah, it did.
Okay, so I guess one thing, I can kind of break these down just from the comic nerd point of view, in my opinion. The prison was a very easy setting to go with. Having said that, I feel like both the show and the comic have evolved past the prison for so long that it would almost feel weird putting the prison in there. Like, if they were going to do something right now, I feel like they would probably use Alexandria as maybe the main setting. Either that or maybe go the Star Wars land route and invent a new kind of colony, or maybe do the Hilltop colony or something like that. I know I'm kind of speaking a foreign language for anyone who doesn't watch the show, but I digress. The prison is a good setting, and it definitely had a good arc within the context of the comic and the show. I just think it's kind of served its time and served its purpose, and I don't necessarily think you should be building a permanent attraction around the prison, just because I think Negan is definitely going to be the big draw for The Walking Dead, and if The Walking Dead ends anytime in the next 5 years or so, I still think the influence of Negan, what he's going to bring to Season 7, what Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to bring to Season 7, is going to far outweigh what the Governor brought to Seasons 3 and 4, which, in my opinion, as a big fan of comic book Governor, I found pretty disappointing. Now, Terminus, AdvBlueDude. Terminus, I thought, was an inspired choice. They actually did a Halloween Horror Nights that was a road to Terminus, which was pretty similar to this, but this was kind of like an updated e-ticket version of that. And granted, I don't really think that they knew about the road to Terminus thing, because with you and me, we never interfere with the brainstorm. We never point out stuff like that because we like it to be as natural as possible.
Yeah.
But what do you think of the road to Terminus overall?
I liked it. Yeah, I mean, I honestly don't have a ton to say about them because I'm not huge in The Walking Dead, and I'm not terribly versed. Though I do appreciate what everyone put into it, as they were in the same boat that I was. But I quite like the efforts, and this was definitely the better of the two, I feel.
Yeah, I absolutely think that the team did kind of come around. The Team Mystic was kind of a ragtag team with you had R. Michael, you had Figment, you had people. Basically, Team Mystic was kind of composed of a bunch of people who had already been swapped around a bunch from other teams, fighting against Team Hightower, which did kind of have a core dynamic of original people in folks like Hufflepuff and Space and folks like that. So I do think it was cool to see an underdog kind of come out and pull this out, even though it was a very difficult project. I give him a lot of props. And just a couple more things to say about Terminus, just because I love the setting of Terminus. I love how they build it. I think they do a very good job with the concept art. Overall, I do think this is probably one of the better projects I've seen out of the season, just from the perspective of me being a Walking Dead fan. The question is, would Universal Studios use Terminus? That's kind of the difficult thing. That's kind of the thing to put into perspective. I like the idea just because I think Terminus in itself is a very self-contained kind of thing. It doesn't have as much baggage as the prison does, where the prison, a fuck ton of shit went down at the prison story arc. So you'd have to cover a lot of groundwork in history if you wanted to do the prison. Terminus is one of those things that you can just kind of reinterpret, and you know the Imagineers can just kind of go wild with the concept in a lot of ways. So go ahead.
If they were to do it in Hollywood, Terminus would make the most sense because the structures are already there.
The structures are there, and then they have the tram tour thing, so they could do like maybe a boxcar sort of setup. I don't know.
Yeah, like they could. Yeah, that'd be the most feasible thing.
I could see that, but then again, folks, I really do think that the Walking Dead attraction is temporary, especially because it's called the Walking Dead attraction.
I'm sure it is because, like, especially Walking Dead's not going to be here in 3 years down the line.
I went down.
The comics will. It'll still be popular, but I'm sure the show's already faltering.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
A lot of my friends who used to watch it religiously have already stopped.
I think Jeffrey Dean Morgan's going to breathe a lot of new life into the show.
I hope he does, because I like him.
Okay,
but I also want him to be Thomas Wayne. But
well, he is Thomas Wayne.
I know, but I want him to keep being Thomas Wayne.
Okay, fair enough.
I want Dr. Hurt.
Okay. And then finally, they do Mary's Kitchen, which I thought was a very clever nod to the show, because one of the episodes very famously ends on this kind, lovely-looking woman named Mary offering the survivors a plate set to a very, very nice-sounding song. And then we find out the episode afterwards, oh, shit, the plate that we were offered contains human meat. These people are cannibals. Oh, boy. So to have the Mary's Kitchen thing in there, I thought was kind of a treat. And also, of course, I'd be remiss if we didn't mention the coral reef. Coral. All right. Adventure Blue Dude, anything you want to say before we move on to the Jungle Cruise? Probably not.
Not really. Good job.
Good job. Yeah, you guys get A's
thumbs
for
up.
Effort.
You get 1 thumbs up, not 2.
You know what? I'm gonna give you a thumb and a half. How about that? God. How about that? Yeah, I'm kicking it up a notch. Okay. Adventure Blue Dude, this was going to be the merge project from the start. The Jungle Cruise Skipper project, Skipper Treat, which I think is a very clever name, if I do say so myself. Thank you. I'm gonna pat myself on the back. Oh yeah. But but Skipper Treat was definitely designed to be the merge project, because everyone knows the Jungle Cruise, everyone knows holiday overlays, and it's just a perfect thing to kind of bring a group of people together, and I think it worked out beautifully. I think there's definitely a few issues here, especially in the realism department. And Adventure Blue Dude, I know you definitely have some issues with how some of the concepts came together, but overall, I really liked what they created here. Overall, I'm pretty positive on it.
So am I. I mean, I agree with the realism stuff. I like that they tried to plus scenes permanently for, like, not just the Halloween overlay, but at the same time, a lot of the set pieces are way too big, and a lot of the changes are way too prominent where they couldn't. I don't think they would be able to like just change it out, like the Rhino becoming like a demon dog type thing would be like changing the bride in the Haunted Mansion. I feel.
And I mean they do some of those things to certain extents within Haunted Mansion Holiday. Like they'll have they'll have the groundskeeper replaced with Jack and Zero, you know what I mean? But I think the big problem here is the animatronics were very, very elaborate and kind of like working in the water, which is always like an added complication, especially with like the giant water snake and stuff like that. And B, like you said, it'd be very hard to hide. It'd be very hard to maintain, especially from the point of view of like, like another boat would have to wait for the show scene to completely recycle itself before going in. And just the sheer number of figures that they wanted to add was a little unfeasible.
I agree. I had a few problems with the story stuff. I talked to you about this before. I thought it could have been taken in a slightly different direction, where like this is again me being an asshole and saying like I wish you went with my idea because I was on the team apparently. Like I think it would have been really cool if like they kept basically what they kept, but changed the story slightly where like everything's going to shit, but the skippers are acting like nothing is wrong.
And they're acting like nothing is wrong nervously because they want to keep their damn job. And they want to keep
like under the guise of like they're still trying to make money, but obviously they should still be operating.
Oh god.
This is a nitpick, but I think that Albert AWOL could have been used more prominently in the queue. Like I don't necessarily like the idea of skippers coming through and pleading for help over the radio. I think it would have worked a little bit better if Albert AWOL was still used and instead was reporting on the things happening deep inside the jungles. Okay. And things like that would have been cool. The last story thing I didn't like was there was like what was it? Sorry, just 1 second. The medallion plot or whatever the hell it was, like right at the beginning, the skipper mentions like, oh, like I wish we had a magic medallion that could save this MacGuffin that could save the day, and then it's never mentioned again. And then Trader Sam has all of them, and like I feel as though that could have played a much bigger part, or it should have just been cut. Or like I think it would have been a lot better and funnier if like there was some kind of climax where like it all could have been avoided with that. Like in the temple, if there was some kind of climax, and then they round the corner, leave the elephant bathing pool, then Sam has them all. But like, it was just kind of pointless. Other than that, I liked the writing. I liked everything else.
I'm gonna go ahead and do a positivity sandwich with your negativity.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Gonna go ahead and,
I liked it. I just
I'm gonna go ahead and recite their spiel from the Haunted Mansion parody. So imagine as you're boarding the voice, or as you're boarding the boat, God, you hear your skipper say, your cadaverous power betrays an aura of foreboding, almost as though you sense a disquieting metamorphosis. Is this boat actually leaving the dock? Or is it your imagination? And consider this dismaying observation. Your boat is completely surrounded with water, and I'm your skipper, which offers you this chilly challenge to find a way out. Of course, you could always swim away. Then he proceeds to flash his flashlight on and off and laugh like a maniac. I don't know, stuff like that just really makes me like, okay, yeah, I really like that. I really like that. Like, I think the best part of the attraction, the best part of the project, I would wager to say would probably be the skipper narration. I think they got the skipper narration down pretty good.
I agree.
Okay. Yeah. And I do really like some of the things that they were trying to do. Here's the thing, AdvBlueDude. Some of these things could have fit into their own attraction. Like, it feels like a lot of these things almost kind of feel like less stuff that you would see in a Halloween Jungle Cruise and more stuff that you'd maybe see in like a Beastly Kingdom ride.
I agree. Like, there was a lot of really great stuff in this. It was just a little bit too big.
Right.
Yeah.
So, folks, we're not trying to come down on the idea or anything, and I really do like that so many people came together and created this. I love that Mew was the project leader when he was so familiar with Adventureland. Although, darn it, Mew, I'm still a little upset at you that you quit like 2 months before you were going to be a Jungle Cruise skipper. Come on, man. Come on. You could have been a skipper, bro.
That was a thing?
Yeah, that was a thing.
I didn't realize he was that close to being a skipper.
Yeah, I think he told us when we were there. He was like 2 months away from being a skipper.
Why do you do this?
Oh, you're right. You weren't there. He told me in Monkey. I apologize.
No, when I was there, he was in Florida.
Right.
We can't keep our coast straight.
No, apparently not. And then I'm going to be back there again in December, but you probably won't be there, I'm guessing.
No, Jesus, no, I'm in school.
Exactly.
Maybe next summer, but no.
Okay, fair enough.
Depending on internships.
Okay. Let's see. But like I said, it almost just kind of feels like it's a different attraction instead of just like we're going to do a Halloween update of the Jungle Cruise. I mean, parts of it take influence from Jurassic Park. Parts of it take influence from Beastly Kingdom. Overall, it just kind of feels like a lot of the show scenes are very well put together. I love the art. I really love the presentation. And the skipper narration is spot on, but a lot of it feels disjointed from, I think, what a proper Jungle Cruise Halloween thing should be, which AdvBlueDude, I think your pitch kind of is very much in line with what I think, not just what we personally think, but I think maybe what Disney in general would like to see in a Disney Halloween Jungle Cruise. That would be a little bit more feasible than essentially like revamping it into an entirely different attraction.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like, there's a lot of ways you could go about it, and they definitely chose a right way. They just chose a big way.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
And, like, despite the negativity bullshit that I said, like, I still really like the project. You guys don't have a low score for me. I just had some problems with a lot of the stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I do. I think some set pieces work better than others for me. For example,
totally.
I think if they would have kept, like, I really like the Venus flytrap in the trap camp.
If they kept that kind of tone. Or that
right. And I'm also fine with replacing the rhino with the other thing, just because I think it'd be an easy switch out. It'd be kind of like replacing the groundskeeper with Jack. You know, it'd be a figure of a similar size that you could just kind of like, you know, it wouldn't be that hard to just take the rhino out and put it backstage for a few months.
Yeah.
But anyways. So I guess what we're trying to say is we really liked all the scenes. We just maybe thought that they could have maybe
smaller.
Yeah, and maybe some of them could have been left on the cutting room floor altogether, perhaps.
Yeah. Make it a little bit more overlay.
Right. I do really like what they did with the elephants, though.
I like that as well. Like subtlety, things like that.
Right.
I think like the most like quote-unquote egregious thing was Inspiration Falls, just because it was way too big. Like Inspiration Falls isn't that large. There's like a huge set piece for that. And egregious is the totally wrong word. That makes it sound a lot worse than I mean it to.
Oh god, it's all good.
But it's too late. I've got Crystal Pepsi.
I just can't wait to try a smooth bottle of Crystal Pepsi.
Refreshing.
Oh yeah. I'm doing kind of like half Peter Griffin and half Brad Jones.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So you guys did a thing. It was good.
You have scores for
I do, because you told me to do that.
Yes, I did, because I already posted my scores to the forum.
Yeah, I didn't do that because I've been bad.
Wagging finger of shame, AdvBlueDude.
I'm sorry.
Wagging finger of shame.
I've been living life.
I know.
Sitting in my basement and rediscovering the guitar. But anyway, so the score for realism, I gave them 7 out of 10. This is out of order because I fucked up, but whatever. For presentation, I gave them an 8 out of 10. For detail, I gave them an 8 out of 10. For creativity, I gave them an 8.5 out of 10. For group work, I gave them an 8 out of 10, leaving us with a total of 39.5 out of 50.
Yeah, I think that's pretty right on. I mean, I think the errors we were talking about, especially in the realism, kept it from getting up into the 40s and being a truly great project. But I think it was a very good project, a solid B effort, and you guys should be proud of it regardless.
Totally. You guys should be proud of everything.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Even the Lemon Tree project.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess Adventure Blue Dude, is there any house cleaning stuff we should do with the killer twist or anything like that?
Not that I know of. There are still killers.
There are still killers. There's still 2 killers in the mist. We're going to have a vote for the killers every single round from now on.
So basically, don't fuck up, and that goes for everyone.
Exactly.
Take that as you will.
And essentially, folks, I know there's been some confusion, and it is kind of like a complex, layered thing with the killers in play, and if the killers are going to take anyone out or anything like that. If the killers take someone out as in eliminate them from the game completely, then that round will be that round's elimination. We won't have a regular elimination via the team leader nominations. If nothing comes of the team leaders or nothing comes of the killers, and if you guys don't vote a killer out, if you guys don't correctly identify a killer, then the elimination from this round will come from the team leader nominations and who you guys vote out from there between the team leader and the team leader's 2 nominations. I know it's a little confusing. Just please, by all means, clarify, ask questions.
Yes.
I'll be happy to answer them. I know it's a bit complex. I know it's a bit layered. I'm trying to think. Let's see. We have Space Mountain, we have Mickey Fan, and we have Pigments, who all have Diamond Power of MVPs still. Those can be used straight up until the Ram Before semifinals, which will be Project 11, and we're on Project 8 right now.
Yep.
So if the killer wants to kill someone who's holding a Diamond Power of MVP, then what they would have to do would be to use one of the kills on the Diamond Power of MVP, and then another kill. Using one of the kills would take the Diamond Power of MVP away, and then they would be vulnerable to be eliminated. And then, so basically the Diamond Power of MVPs acts as shields for the kill twist. But if one kill is used on someone with a Diamond Power of MVP, their Diamond Power of MVP will go away. Does that make sense? Please tell me that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, folks, like I said, if any of this, like, I know I just kind of ran through that like very lightning fast, so if any of it doesn't make sense, message us.
Yes.
I'd love to clarify.
Yeah, I'd love to watch Tiki clarify.
I know you do. Okay, let's see. I think, is there anything else to go over? Are you excited to talk about the C projects when they come out?
Yes, I am. When does it do again?
It is due Sunday.
Get that in.
All right. So, folks, I'm really satisfied with the way the season's been going. I think that maybe perhaps after this next coming round, virtually everyone left in the game is going to be solid and active and is not going to be eliminated just because, like, oh, hey, they're on a vacation or they're not around or they dropped an activity or something like that. I think for the last, 4 or 5 projects, we're going to have ourselves a real competition here. And with all the layers of twist between the killer twist and the Diamond Power of MVPs in play and the alliances, I think it's going to be a fun finish, folks. And I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So without further ado, I will see you later. And Adventure Blue Dude, thank you for joining me.
You're welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. How polite. All right. And thank you, Coral. Thanks, Coral, for joining us too. All right. Coral!